All right. 1 second. All right, guys, this is Nasar, aka the real estate guru. I'm not the guru, I'm a guru because I actually do this business. Okay. And today we have a very, very special guest, Cherise. Okay. I'm saying that correct, right?
Cherish.
Cherish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So we have a very special
It's
guest,
all good.
Cherish. And um, let me just say this, right? Like I've been following your viral social media, your Facebook posts that have been viral for I want to say maybe for like a year now, probably like last year where I came across your stuff, right? So
hmm
I hit the follow button on your page. So to follow it because I'm like, yo, she putting out good content. Let me follow this because I know your message is targeted to women, but I was inspired too as a man, you know, with a 7-figure real estate business. I'm like, man, this is pretty good stuff right here. So with that being said, I've been following your stuff, right? And I wanted to see you on Instagram, right? Because I figured you have 150 messages on Facebook because I have 150
True.
messages on Facebook. So I was like, I don't want to message there. Let me get on Instagram. I
Yeah.
have a better chance on the gram. So that's what I did. I reached out to you. I had reached out to you on the gram. And I just wanted to
hmm
like when I see people with good content, I'll follow their page, especially on Facebook, because at one point I maxed out my friends list, right, to 5,000 friends. And then when people that I actually know in life, like real life from high school or college or whatever,
hmm
reach out to me or even from the streets, I didn't have any room for them. So I did a cleanup on my list.
Same.
And so I always keep space open for people that I actually know in real life. So I don't accept all the friends list, but all the friend requests because I just need space for people I
hmm
actually know. So all right, Cherish. All right. So before
Yeah.
we jump into your story, let me say this, right? So all right, you started off in Detroit, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you are a mother, right?
I am.
Okay. All right. You're a mother. Okay. So let's start from before we like let's start from like before you did that what sparked your interest to even take that leap of faith to get into real estate, and what was your situation like at that time?
Um, let's see. My interest in real estate actually started very young, so I knew I wanted to do something with real estate. Of course, when I was younger, I didn't even know what it was. I just knew I liked houses. My mom, which I don't know if this is a black mama thing or whatever it is, but we would go house looking. That was our thing. So um hold on. I don't know if that's me. Is that me?
Yeah, I'm getting a delay.
I don't know if I'm on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so we would go house looking, and that was like our weekend thing. And I just fell in love with houses. And um, fast forward, I would say, uh, not right out of high school, but kind of is when I started, the wheels started turning again because, like you said, I am a mother, so I had kids young, and I was in the beauty industry, so very, very fast money. Um, and because I had kids young, I didn't want to stay at home. I wanted to move out. And because I made money for myself, I wanted to keep my money. I did not like the thought of rent at all. I still to this day like despise rent. So I didn't want to rent, which I think is what kind of started it. So I rented a house from my neighbor who, that's when it really started for me. It was my granddad's neighbor, lived across the street from my granddad my whole entire life. And at this time, I think I was 20, maybe, because I had just dropped out of college and I came back home to do full time.
You cut out for a sec, sis.
This song.
You cut out. There you go. You back on.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I ended up renting a house from her. This is my granddad's block. She owned like right now she owns like 11 houses on that block. At the time, she owned like 3 or 4 properties on the block. So me, I'm the type of person if I got access to the horse, I'm going directly to the horse. So I
Yeah.
went to her because I wanted to rent one. I wanted to rent one of the properties, and mainly because it was literally like 3 houses down from my granddad, and I just asked her like, if she mind having a conversation with me about what she was doing, because I ain't trying to rent. I mean, I'm gonna rent from you this year, but that's all it's gonna be. I'm not trying to rent next year. And she literally, like, still to this day, does not have any problem kicking it to anybody that comes to her with questions. So we literally went across the street, sat in her car, and she told me the process about what she was doing. And that was it.
Okay. All right.
So
Let me ask a few things. How old were you then when that conversation took place?
you said how old was I?
Yes. How old were you?
I think I was 20. That was 2012.
Okay.
So what was that? Yeah, it was right before my 21st first birthday. So yep.
Okay. So you're about 28, 29 now. You hear me?
One more time.
I said you're 28,
Yeah.
28 now.
I don't know. I think that's my signal. It's very bad. I'm trying to log in from the computer too.
Yeah, your signal was terrible. But all right, so all right. Can you hear me?
I think that's my connection cutting out. I didn't hear the question.
Okay, cool. All right. So you were 28 you're 28 now, but you were 20 then.
Yes, I was 20 then. I just turned 29, but I was 20 going on 21.
Okay, well, hey, you still young, and you're doing it. Um, somebody comment. All right, so cool. All right,
I
so
was young, but I actually was kind of old.
all right, so but at 20, all right, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so take me to your first real estate deal. You're a single parent, and how did that happen? Explain to me that first real estate deal.
I'm trying to log in from my computer because my connection is very, very bad.
All right.
Thank you. Can you go get Barry? Okay, thank you. No, I just want her to go out there and close my door. I'm doing something right now.
I'm about to get in the shower. Are you on the phone?
Yes. Yes.
All right, y'all. She's fixing her connection. So
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to log in on the computer because this is very the signal is not.
All right, so y'all can just bear with us for a little bit while she fixes her connection.
Give me 1 second.
All right.
You can go on while I'm logging on.
Okay, no, what I was saying was just asking you questions because me personally, right, when I was I discovered about real estate investing when I was 19. I'm 37 now, but I discovered when I was 19. I overheard my father talking to his friend. And from there, I asked, me being 19, I didn't know who to go to. So I went to my father and said, hey, how do I get in real estate? Because he was telling his friend how the neighbor next door bought the house for 150, put 20 into it, and sold it for 270. So I'm like, man, that's $100K. I need to get into real estate. So with that being said, I end up I asked him about it. Well, as he was like, well, just talk to my friend to get your credit right because he didn't know about creative real estate investing. He just knew about the traditional way. And I ended up buying my first house at 24, which was a flip. And me and my partner, we ended up losing like 7,000 a piece. But it's not about me. Are you logged into your computer yet?
Yes, I'm pulling up the email.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, see, Detroit was a little bit different, and I think it actually was a blessing for me to get started how I did and where I did, because the properties was just so cheap, very cheap, but still renting at, you know, market rental rates. So it just was like mind blowing to me. I don't still to this day. Definitely different, but can definitely make lots of money in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me see.
All right. And you said when you was talking to the person in the car, you was talking to your grandmother, you said, right?
No, she lives across the street from my granddad.
Got you. Let's go see from your granddad. Got you. Okay. All right. Now, did you have a job at this point?
I was just doing hair full time. So
Okay, so you had income.
yeah.
All right. So at 20, and were you how many? You had one child at that time or two?
I had two.
Okay. And so you had your kids depending on you. You was trying to get a better life. So you just had to make this work.
And I'm so glad you said that, because so many people, it's kind of still weird to me. Like, people send me messages and they like, I'm so inspired by you and you like motivate me and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I'm literally just doing what I had to do. It wasn't no other options for me. You know, y'all got all y'all degrees, y'all doing all of this stuff. I'm as big as a statistic can get. So I don't know no other way but to figure it out for myself. I can't depend on nothing else. My kids have to depend on me. So I got to figure it out. That's all it ever was for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up like that, right? Because I was going to frame it like that, right? So you were 20 with two kids. I'm quite sure people gave up on you. All right. You dropped out of college. You're doing hair. I'm quite sure people gave up on you because I mean, I know about Detroit. Detroit is hardcore. Shout out to the D. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just know how it is growing up in that environment and how
Yes.
people looking at you and things of that nature. But you didn't let that determine your future. You still went and got this information, and from you getting this information, um, you took action on it. So are we ready? All right. So you got the information from the lady across the street. Now, tell me what happened next.
After that actually was kind of crazy, because she had a different type of situation. She had a couple of partners. Like, she had some houses by herself, but then she had some partners. So my property wasn't finished yet, but I was going down to it like every day just because I was excited to have my own place or whatever. And her partner, who was doing the construction, was down, and we actually started talking, which ended up being my guy after that. So we started investing together and you know, just went and did our own thing. So yeah, so after that I went, and she actually was doing an online auction, and I made my little username and stuff. I logged in. I don't know if it was that same weekend or when it was. Um, at this time, she told me she was buying houses for $500. I didn't have any reason to not believe her. And hold on, can you see me on here? I don't know. My light is not good.
I can see you. I can see
Okay.
you, and I'm okay.
All right. So it's not echoing or anything, is it? Because it's still on my phone too.
No.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So I went on and I did my first bid, and I won the property. And literally couldn't believe it. It was like, I think it ended up being maybe like $900 or something. The
For
property
the
was
house.
like for the house.
Okay, all right. You bought a house for $900.
I bought a house for $900. It ended
Now
up being like,
we talking 900 American dollars. Okay, so all right, let's start. You bought the house for 900 American dollars. What happens next? Talk to me.
I was a little bit skeptical. It was kind of scary because, okay, I can get.
Once I won it, I didn't really know what to do. She didn't give me like any extra steps or anything. I didn't really ask any more questions. And when it said that I won the property, I was a little. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay. I didn't really know what to do next. So, I mean, I reached out to the seller. I started looking stuff up. So that's where kind of you'll figure it out along the way came in. I started like looking up stuff. It was some taxes that ended up being, which wasn't a lot. Like literally, I don't think it was more than $1,100. I had to find the paperwork and stuff because people did not believe me. So literally, like what my clients were paying me to do a weave for them, I bought a house for less than what my clients were paying me to do their hair. So I got the house, and it actually said I actually never ended up really doing much with that house. It was really just like a learning lesson for me. But I did 4 after that. I started using a different auction, but to this day,
let's stop right there.
Okay.
All right. At this point of the first house, you're dating the contractor guy.
Not yet. I bought the house and we started dating after that. So I already had the house. Okay,
so you had the house, then you started dating. Now, in the meantime, is the apartment ready from the older lady or no?
Yeah. He was like finishing up stuff. So I ended up staying there for the year.
All right, so you end up in one of the lady's apartment. Meanwhile, you went on the auction. You bought the house for $900. You're saying this is around 2012, and I do remember that houses in Detroit were that cheap, and you bought the house for $900. So you got the house. Like, what happened to that house? Like, what did you fix it up? Did you sell it? Did you live in it? Like, what happened?
No, I actually. This past year, I held that house for a long time. I think kind of just for sentimental reasons. I would start on it. It was like a complete shell. I did not have a plan as to how I was going to rehab it or nothing. I actually bought it sight unseen. So I didn't even know if the house was actually still standing there. I don't know. I was just like, I can't waste no time. I got to do this. So I went to see the property after I won it and realized it was like literally a shell, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing because it was a clean slate to go into, but I didn't have any money at that time. All I had was the money for the house. I didn't have any money to fix the house up or anything like that. And then me and the contractor guy did start dating, and we would go in and we would start fixing on it, but it was always like, okay, well, now I got to get another few $100, or now I got to save another few $1,000s or whatever. And every time I would go in to do something, the crackheads would come in and steal my my electric panels and everything. So I didn't get far with that house. I actually gave it back to the county this past year. Like I've literally just been paying taxes on that house since 2012. So it went to the back of the list after I started doing other stuff. So the area wasn't the greatest. It was like a abandoned school across the street from it, so it wouldn't have done well anyways. But for me, it was literally just a learning lesson, you know.
Okay. Somebody said, did you buy that from the tax auction?
No, I did not buy that one from the tax auction. The tax auction is my favorite auction now. The tax auction, this is when this site was bid for assets. So Wayne County used to do their property auctions through the website Bid for Assets, and then they actually ended up getting their own website for their auctions. So they would list the properties on there, and then they would have the auction, but someone had already bought the property from the auction like the year before, and he was just reselling his properties on that website. It was an out-of-state investor from California. He had bought like 50 properties from the tax auction and was reselling them on this website. And literally, he had never seen the house. He was just making an extra $200, $300 on these properties, you know, depending on what the bids went for. So, yeah, it was a tax foreclosed property, but not when I purchased it.
All right, because I remember everybody used to talk about, man, them houses in Detroit. Because at one point in 2008, you were high school. Well, 2008 or so, 2009, like you could get a house in Detroit for like $1.
No, so that website, they started if you go on that website now, it still says $1, no reserve. That's where they start at. But the bid increment is like, well, it used to be $100 or something like that. So
yeah. So, but you caught that 900. Okay. In the midst of that one house, you were doing hair. You got your 2 kids. You like, well, look, I'm gonna go do 4 more houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, like, what happened with the other 4 houses?
Yeah. So 3. This was 2015. Me and my ex ended up buying, which was still the contractor guy. We ended up buying 3 together, which were from the county auction. So I think altogether we probably spent like $7,000 maybe, and that included summer taxes. The most expensive property that we bought was, I think, $1,700, and one of them was a complete shell. 2 of them were occupied. One of them I still had, and then after me and my ex split, I ended up buying another one. So the 2 that needed the most work, I left him with. I took the one that we had already fixed, already had a tenant in it, and kept that one. And I still have that to this day. And then I bought another one after that.
Okay, all right. You making money as a hairdresser. So it was 4 houses. 2 you kept. Are they like rental properties? Like, what's going on? How you making money from these houses?
Yeah, so the one that I got, so after we split, I was just down to the 1 because I gave him 2. And I moved back in with my mama because we had the properties, 2 of them were rented, and I left from his house. So I technically didn't have anywhere to live, but I wasn't kicking the tenants out for me to have somewhere to live. So I went back home. I stayed with my mama, which I talk about a lot on my social media. Literally pallets on the floor with my kids until I saved enough, because this is also the 3rd kid came in. So at this time, my clientele was much less, so I wasn't making as much money as I used to. I had just had a kid. So I went back home to save, and I told my mama I needed like 6 months. I didn't know where the next house was coming from, but I was going to find a house because I was not going back to renting again. Hate rent. So I stayed at my mama's house. I found my next house, which I got that one in 2017. And so those are the 2 that I still have. But I actually just moved to Florida. So that the one I got in 2017 is rented. The one that I kept from my ex, I actually was living in that one when I was making my transition. So that one is in the midst of getting some upgrades. That was the first one that we bought. The one I told you was $1,700 or something like that. So I was redoing the kitchen and everything, and then abruptly moved to Florida. So it's sitting in need of the kitchen being finished, which will be in the next couple of months.
Okay. All right. Let's examine the situation. So here it is. You buying these houses, but you're not really making no money from them. That one house that you kept, how much was that rented for?
$800. Well, that one was rented for $700, and I had the other. So I flip-flopped. The one that I kept, I was renting at first, and I was living in the other one. But this one was bigger. The one that I was living in was bigger. So I decided to move to the other one once my tenant moved out and stay in the smaller house, so I could get more rent for the bigger house. So that one is renting for $800. The one that I was staying in will rent for $700 to $750.
Okay, so now y'all wasn't married. Y'all was just in a relationship.
Correct.
Okay, but even though you wasn't married, you had to make a decision and say, all right, look, this is what's fair.
Mm-hmm.
we're going in a separate direction.
Yeah.
And so, as a department, being that you did all this work, I let you keep these 2 houses. You just get out of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is unique because you're not married. This is just 2 adults just having a conversation. Like, yo, look, this is what we need to do. Now, I'm quite sure you've seen adults when they break up, they can't be civil and make those kind of decisions. That's why I'm highlighting all this. This wasn't, like this. You went to, I mean, okay, all right. So now you got 3 kids. Okay, so now you got 3 kids. So you're renting out, you're doing the rental income, and are you still doing hair?
Yes, I was doing hair, but then I actually ended up transitioning back into corporate. And I started working in finance. I was doing mortgage banking, and yeah.
Okay. So were you making a decent living?
Yeah.
And you didn't have a mortgage, which was great because you're buying these houses cash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what made you what year? Because I seen that I was like, oh, she moved to Florida. Like, ain't she from the beach? But okay, so what year did we leave Detroit and move down to Florida? Like what
I just left. I've been here for 2 months.
Okay, so you started investing 8 years ago, and it's been a passive thing. And you basically not only you had to deal with life obstacles, you had to deal with business obstacles, which we all get uppercutted from, So you get the business obstacles, and then you like, yo, let me move to Florida. What made you want to move to Florida?
The snow for one, but I've always wanted to move to Florida. I just, always had a vibe in Florida that I liked. I wanted to be close to the water, and I didn't want to deal with the snow. But this has been the plan for the past at least 6 years. But
okay, well, yeah, I'm from Jersey. I left in 2008 and I moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I know about the snow, and I tell people like, yeah, all right. So in Jersey, we got those straight line driveways, right?
Uh-huh.
The city my father lived in, you couldn't park on the street. Shout out to East Orange, right? You couldn't park on the street. So you had to park in the driveway. So when it snowed, right? Of course, I'm the laborer in the house. When it snowed, I would have to shovel out his car, stepmother's car, my car. It was just all straight line. I didn't have a choice. Everybody got to get out. Then my car, and then my sister was staying with her car. So while I'm shoveling this, right, I'm like, yo, I gotta get out of here.
I got to go.
This can't be my life, right? So, and yeah, so I know what you're talking about with snow. And Detroit being the Midwest, y'all get more hardcore winters than Jersey. So yeah, I get some hardcore winters. Okay.
Definitely. For me too, a big part of it, because I was still doing hair at the time, and you got the seasons in business when you in the Midwest. I don't know if it's a real thing, but I feel like the weather definitely affects your business, and it's really in the beauty industry. So it was like the wintertime was just always slow because people not getting out as much. They're not, going around as much. I'm like, I just go to Florida where it's always hot, where people always need their hair done. So yeah, it was a lot of reasons. Also, I just wanted a different environment for my kids. So I for sure will continue to buy in Detroit because people will continue to live there. But for me and mine,
Okay, so how are you managing your properties right now? From you're in Florida and you in Detroit. Like, how are you managing your properties?
Well, I'm self-managing. The one is occupied. I don't have any issues. Don't have any house issues. If anything comes up, one of the properties is literally right around the corner from my granddad. My mom is a licensed realtor as well. She handles a lot of stuff for me. But if anything was to come up, literally just a flight to Detroit, which is not a big deal.
So
the other one's all construction and everything. Well, not necessarily construction, but my kitchen and stuff that's getting ready to get done. My mama will be overseeing that.
Okay, so all right, Now here it is. Now you're in Florida. So like, what's the plan? What is Cherish doing right now? Like, what's the plan as of right now? Like, are you still investing in Detroit? Are you looking for opportunities in Florida? Like, what's the situation?
Both. If COVID hadn't happened, I was getting at least 2 to 3 properties from that auction. So next year, I believe they're probably still going to have it for October. As long as Detroit properties are cheap, as long as people still need a place to live in Detroit, as long as I can buy a house and be mortgage free in Detroit, which I feel for me is going to be like leverage for everything else that I want to do. I will continue to invest in Detroit, but I am looking for opportunities in Florida as well.
Okay, so great. All right, so the opportunity in Florida, I'm sorry, in Detroit. Let's say you bought that house, $2,000, $3,000, whatever the price was a few years ago. All right, what do you say that house is worth today? The one that's rented.
All of them were worth at least like $25,000. The last one that I got, I paid $20,000 for it. That one will appraise for like 50 or between 50 and 60. The one that I got for like $1,700, I've had multiple offers for like 25 to 30,000 for that one. So
okay, all right. So now, from my understanding, this is what I'm hearing as an investor, right? That those areas surrounding or close to downtown Detroit, they're probably like they're retailing for like 100 plus. Is that correct?
It depends on the area, but yeah. Okay.
So, have you ever thought about targeting that area, or have you ever targeted that area before it popped off, or you were like, well, I know this side of town, but just stay over here? Or,
yeah, I stuck to the area that I know. My mom is not far from downtown, literally like less than a mile, and it's still like a hit or miss. Like you're gonna have a good block, and then you're gonna have a block where the houses look like Royal Oak, which is, one of the suburban areas. So definitely people are making their way back over there, but I didn't know that area. I wasn't comfortable buying on that side of town. So I stuck to what I knew. I stuck to what was close to me and did that. So I feel like either way, no matter what it is, like I was never investing for the equity. I was investing for the cash flow. So I don't care. And when I see a lot of people, I see so many people talking like big time investors, like, oh, I would never invest in Detroit. But that's because they are heavy leveraged and they want the mortgages and they want to refinance the properties and they want to do all of that stuff. But to me, if I can buy a house for $1,500, if I can buy a house for $10,000 and I can make $700 on it every month with no mortgage on it, I don't care if I can't never refinance that property. I do not care. I got 3 kids. My kids are either going to go to college or they're going to start a business somewhere. So if I can rent a house for the next 10 years for $700 a month, 10 of those with no notes, it makes a ton of sense to me.
No, it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So, all right. So, because me, all right, I'm one of those I invest near Charlotte and the outskirts, right? So I invest near here. I'm one of those people who basically, when I buy a property, I want I want cash flow and I want equity. Sometimes it's been times where I took little cash flow because of it was in the path of progress, aka the hood, and gentrification was happening. I knew it, and that paid off for me big time in the past. So but I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, if I was in an opportunity in this place like Detroit, where I can buy a property for anywhere between $900 and $5,000 with no mortgage, like you said, it's a no-brainer. I mean, even when Charlotte was cheap, Charlotte's not cheap now, but even when Charlotte was cheap, we talking 15 to 30 grand for houses in the hood. But I mean, I'm kicking myself in the butt for not taking wholesale fees and just going broke buying houses with no mortgage. But yeah, if I had the opportunity like you do and you're comfortable, you know where to buy at. Me, if you gave me the site where you buy the houses from, the auction sites and everything, I'm going to mess up and buy in the wrong areas because I don't know Detroit. And what's going to happen? I'm going to pay some contractor to fix it up. And let's say I get an honest guy. Well, being that I have the only house on that block that's getting fixed up, all the rest of them was boarded up. People, the crackheads are going to go in there, not because they got nothing against Nasar, but they're going to steal the piping. They're going to steal the electrical wire. They stealing all that. So yeah, because I don't know, but you know the areas, and you know, okay, I can buy over here. You know, this looks like Royal Oak, and this is not. You know, and let me say it's about Detroit, right? So. All right, I did it one semester at Wilberforce University in Ohio. Shout out to the Will in Ohio, right? This is September 01. You know, I'm older. All right. So I'm from Jersey. At that time, New York. I'm from North Jersey, close to New York. New York pretty much dominated the music scene, right? The hip hop thing, so the culture. So everything had to go through New York. How, like now, first of all, now it doesn't matter where you're at, but people who want to get on the entertainment scene, they always move to Atlanta or other places. But back then, it's like, yo, they had to sleep in New York or California for auditions in Chicago. Those were the places you wanted to be in if you wanted to be in media. So, and I was in college, I was a communication major, media and film. I went to King University out in Union, New Jersey. I graduated from there and I did my internship at VH1, MTV in Times Square, whatever, essentially. But regardless of what, so I go out to now. I was an open-minded guy. I was always cool with everybody. High school, I go out to college, yo, it was good, you know. And when I went out there and I met guys from Detroit, from Chicago, from I knew about LA, but Detroit and Chicago, I knew that it was more than one hood than the one I was from, because them Detroit dudes was wild, bro. They was wild. Chicago, bro. Chicago was deep and they was wild, and I didn't realize because I'm 18 at the time. You know, my mother took me out of state before. I've been places like North Carolina, country parts of North Carolina. So I'm like, man, so we out there and all these people from Detroit and Chicago, because we in the Midwest. And I'm talking to somebody from Detroit, like, yo, he from Detroit, she from Detroit. Hey, yo, y'all know each other? Like, y'all went to high school? How many high schools is there in Detroit? Because I don't know how big this is. I'm like, how many high schools is there? So, wait, all y'all from the D, you from Chicago, and all y'all, and y'all don't know each other. This must be a big place. You know? Yeah, and these were some wild bunch of folks, man.
Wild boys.
They're wild, bro. Them D dudes wild, bro. Yeah. So shout out to the D, shout out to Chicago. Chicago is now like one of my favorite places in America to travel and get food. I didn't go this year because of the COVID, but yeah, Chicago, they got the best food in the country. I swear.
Chicago, I'm from Chicago, so I got both hoods: South Side Chicago, West Side Detroit.
I get it, bro. I get it.
Yeah.
I heard about that West Side Detroit. I heard it's hardcore over there. So, yeah, but I'm glad you're saying. Okay, so you're in Florida now. All right, you're in Florida. You want to give your kids a better opportunity. All right, now in the beginning of the call, because it's 8:40, and if you guys, Detroit. Somebody said Detroit is like Baltimore. Both are grid type cities. Like, yeah, both are just straight up hardcore. So. All right, I got questions for her. Put the questions in because I don't want this to go past 9 o'clock. But all right, so you're in Florida. Okay, so you're in Florida now, and you teach women, right? You target women, right? Okay, so you target women and you teach them entrepreneurship and have faith in yourself and going out and making it happen. Your posts motivate me. Like, I share your posts on my page, my personal Facebook page, and what happened is people go out and they send you friend requests, and I'm like, damn, maybe I should have sent them a friend request.
I really appreciate that. Somebody random that shared it from your page, and I was like, she was like, I love her post. I'm like, I never seen her because I watch my people. I know my people. So I'm like, I don't know her. Let me see where she came from.
Yeah, like so I shared on my page and I shared your stuff on my Instagram recently, but I'm like, okay, so and I told, like I said earlier, but the people wasn't here, like I get like 1 million inboxes, 1 million friend requests, but at one point I had 5,000 friends, and the people, family members, the people I know in real life, I didn't have any room for them. So now I try to keep space for them. But yeah, I share your stuff, and I'm like, damn, maybe she'd accept my request. All right. Anyway, so okay, so you teach women now. These like, and it's crazy you said like these women like, yo, that's good, you're doing it. You're so I don't know if they used the word lucky or whatever the case, but you just like literally had your back against the wall. You had to do what you had to do. And me, I get those same type of emails, and it's like, yo, bro, I was in a city that I didn't have no family members. I wasn't my mom passed in 97, my father back in Jersey. I was not trying to go back home. I was making $12 an hour in the call center. I was like, yo, this ain't my life. This ain't, nah, bro, I'm not accepting this. So I had to put together a plan and make it work. And it took me 8 months to get my first wholesale deal. So you're in that same situation. Like, so when women tell you like, oh, you're so lucky, you're this and that, and what do you respond? How do you respond to those emails?
See, they don't actually tell me that I'm lucky. And I think that's because I share all of my stuff. I'm a cusser. I don't know what type of audience you guys are.
I cuss all the time.
I share all of it, like literally all of it. I've literally gone live and like literally start bawling, crying. Like when I say I tell all of my shit, like the highs, the lows. So people have literally watched this. And even for me, like sometimes when I feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not where I want to be, and then I look back through all of this stuff where people are like, no, I literally remember when you had that baby, or my clients, like when I literally went from having my own salon to renting my basement at my property because I had a tenant in it. And I got to the point where I could not afford to pay $100 a week in booth rent no more because I didn't have the clientele that I used to have. And I literally was renting my basement from my tenants to do my clients in my basement to continue to have an income. Literally, I think 2017 or it was 2017 or 18, in the midst of trying to get over my breakup, trying to figure a bunch of stuff out. Like I literally worked at Family Dollar for like a hot week or whatever. Didn't care who came in there and saw me. Literally at that time I had 3 kids. I don't care how many houses I got or what people think I got or had going on. It was no way I was not going to figure something out. So people don't tell me I'm lucky because they know that it ain't luck. It's literally the work. It's the faith is a big part, which I talk about a lot because my gratitude never changed. When I was at my mama house, literally in 2016 after my breakup, I was literally sharing a bed with my mama pregnant. I called my mama, I said, I need to come back home. I shared a bed with my mama pregnant. I had a baby and me and that baby was in the bed with my mama until I got the next house. And literally, I don't care, you can scroll back years through my page and it's all there. So my whole thing with what I do on social media, I'm very obedient. I'm not gonna say religious, but very spiritual. And I always want the people who need it to get whatever it is. So literally some nights I literally pray. It's crazy because I think one of the posts that you are talking about before I made the post and it was just because it was something that was on my spirit. And I literally prayed the night before and I was like, whoever is supposed to hear it, whoever is supposed to get something from it, let them get it. And I woke up and the post was viral and it was like crazy. So I get both sides and I get people, talking junk, but I get so many people who are like, I'm in that situation right now and I don't know how to get out of it, or I don't have the confidence to share my lows like you do. So I appreciate when you come on and you say whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And yes, ain't nobody come on mine and say you lucky or nothing. Cause I was on the post. I'm like, we was eating ramen noodles for a whole month, baby. Okay.
I got you. And it's crazy, right? Like with your situation, like you said, you use statistics of statistics. And you just won't quit. You just keep going. You keep inspiring. You keep just keep going. Like you keep going, right? Because I got a friend that I grew up with, and one has done 3 prison bids. Each time he comes home from prison, I swear he goes right back to getting money. Now,
some people just got it.
Like, and I'm not talking about no play money. I'm talking about some real money. Like, he's not a nickel and dime guy. So so this last time he got to prison a few years ago, he went totally legit. But he's like a full entrepreneur. Like, and he doesn't know how well he's doing because he thinks he's just supposed to do that. Because it's just in him. Like, he doesn't understand, like, yo, bro, like, you ain't gonna beg nobody for no job. Like, he just makes it happen. Got into trucking didn't work for him. From getting into trucking, he's in real estate, he's flipping houses. And another friend of mine, bro, went to jail, smooth out of high school. Like, he did 2 prison bids. He's flipping houses. I got another friend, the homeowner, but their mindset it's the mindset. It's not really what some people have multiple degrees, and you meet them, you know them. I used to work with them. They have master's degrees, but they're in the call center with me making $12 and something an hour, and they have zero ambition.
Yeah.
So a car with no transmission can't drive. And they have like just no drive to do anything, whereas these people that are like deemed supposed to be losing by society standards, they're really out here winning and have more than the people with all this education. But it really boils down to like what you want out of life.
That's the biggest piece. And I tell people that all the time because like you said, you know, and I use the GPS analogy, like Siri can't take you somewhere until you put an address in there. Like,
yeah.
Your wheels is turning, but you just sitting in one spot because you don't know what you want or where you're trying to go. So people who lack that vision for their own lives, anything that anybody else do, because I feel like I ain't did nothing like compared to what I want and what I've envisioned for myself. I'm like still right here. I'm still at level 1, but it's all about what you envision for yourself and what you know is destined for you. And a lot of people lack that, and definitely in our community, which is why I preach on a lot of it. We gotta start thinking different, you know.
Absolutely. So, all right. Now somebody asked, are you familiar with like wholesaling?
Yes.
All right. Do you do any wholesaling? Would you consider wholesaling?
I probably would, but I feel like it's a little more work than I may want to do. I don't know. Maybe because I come from banking, so like being on the phones, like prospecting is not really my thing. But if I can buy a house and a wholesaler can put a deal together for me, I would be cool on that side of wholesaling. But I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna say I tried to dabble in it, but I've thought about it multiple times, but I have not done any deals.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah. Hold on, my boy Chris said, the prison library, it was like business college for me, no cap, day in and day out. I had a friend who, like one of our other mutual, like somebody that we know we don't really deal with, he ended up losing trial and ended up doing 10 years. And I was talking to my friend, like, yo, man, such and such told me that this person is down there, down prison playing basketball. And he need to get his ass in the law library and try to get some of the time back, or whatever the case may be. And my boy, who's been in prison multiple times, was like, yo, he said, yo, bro, some people, they don't know what's out here, so they don't want anything. So they will literally accept anything you give them. Like anything that you just give them, they accept it. They won't try to fight it, and they get up a routine. Could be looking at girly magazines or playing basketball or whatever, and they will not fight for their freedom. And it translates. It's people like that in life that like, yo, you give them the basics. That's it. They don't want nothing else.
See, and I beg to differ. I think that people do know. Because in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. It's the same way you can get on your phone and hop on Facebook. people have literally told me like a close friend of mine told me she literally scrolls past my post. A friend that don't own nothing. Like I work in finance, I work in real estate. I'm buying houses on my own. You don't own one. You say that you want one. You literally have unlimited access to me at any moment. Like I work for the largest lender. At any moment, you can say, sis, what do I need to do? Even if I don't want to pay cash for a property, if I want to go get this loan, what do I need to do? So many people that literally have my direct phone number, even if it's not me, whoever it is, because I'm that type of person that the same way I walked across the street and got in that lady car and said, sis, what you doing? I need to know what you doing. She literally have parties, and when I say have the block banging, and it's probably 5 or 6 of them that have asked her, show me what you're doing. Show me how to do what you're doing. So people just, like you said, just lack the ambition and lack the want or desire for anything more. It ain't because it ain't out here and they can't find it. They literally are looking past it.
Yeah, no, real talk. Yeah, real talk. All right, so wrapping it up, right? So you teach women, you motivate women. How can people find you? Give out your sites, promote yourself, social media, give out all that.
Oh my God. My social media, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Millionaire Chair. That's CHER. And my Facebook is just my first and last name, Cherish Walker. My website is still under construction. It will be cherishwalker.com. But yeah.
Okay, now you target women. It's okay for men to hit you up?
Men can hit me up if it's about business. I accept everybody for the most part, but when it gets to all the other stuff, you know, I'm on here to inspire somebody and to make $1. So if you ain't buying something or you ain't sending your girlfriend or sister or somebody my way, you ain't tagging somebody under my post, you ain't talking about buying a house or getting on the deal with me, stay on where you at, brother.
All right. So look, right? So fellas, if y'all hop in her DM, no hanky panky, straight business.
Hop in my DM, it better be a deed in there. I ain't playing. A Home Depot card or something.
Yeah, like you don't leave with the Home Depot card, the Lowe's card.
I don't want my nails done. I don't need no bundles. I don't want none of that. You got to buy me a tub or some appliances or something.
Yeah, so no funny business. But ladies, you get her up, fellas. Like put your woman on to her. Like if she can do it, your lady can do it, and she's out there inspiring people. And just my thing is, just keep sharing the post because them joints it ain't real. I like it.
So your audience is mostly men? Is that who's on? That's what's in the comments?
Yeah, my audience is mostly men, yes.
Okay, I do got a word for the men though.
Yeah,
I want to start looking at y'all ladies as more partners and not just as y'all housemaids or whatever, because a lot of y'all are missing opportunities and missing y'all level up because y'all not using your woman to her full capacity. Okay? That's my word for the men.
All right. I definitely hear it. And my man Chris, he was like, yo, he's about to shoot a shot. But hey, Chris, you know what I mean? Hey.
Chris.
But yeah, so look, right? So guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you for joining me, everybody who joined me on Facebook and on YouTube. Remember, you can follow me. That's my channel. I got new videos, new content up. You can follow me at on Facebook. I'm sorry, on YouTube, The Real Estate Guru, IG, Real Estate Guru. The Facebook group is Wholesaling with the Guru. Any real estate questions, please put that in the Facebook group. Try not to DM and inbox me. I get a bunch of them, and I'm not able to answer them because I'll be on the move and doing a lot of things. So before I go, I just want to thank you, Cherish, for joining me tonight, and I just wish you much more success in your life.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, and peace.
Bye.